Once upon a time, in the bustling town of Oju, located in Benue State, there lived a man named Ode. Ode was a tall, imposing man with a booming voice that would command the attention of any crowd. Ode was not only wealthy, but also a very popular politician. His influence stretched far and wide, and he was deeply respected in the community. His father, before him, had also been a man of great influence, leaving Ode with a legacy to uphold. Ode has dreamed of becoming the chairman of his community and willing to do anything to achieve his ambition. As the election period approached, Ode declared his intention to run for the position of chairman of the community. He began his campaign visiting elders and prominent men in the community to seek their support. One evening, as Ode was seated in his living room, he received a call from Mr. Ona, his political advisor. "Chief, we need to discuss your campaign strategy," Mr. Ona said urgently. "The people need to see you as a family man. They need to believe that you have strong family values. It was also a rule in Oju to get married before contesting for the post of the chairman." Ode frowned. He had always been a bachelor, enjoying the freedom that comes with it. But he knew that Mr. Ona was right. He really wants to win the hearts of the people. He needs to get married. The thought of getting married now filled him with dread, but he knew it was the only way to secure his position as chairman. One evening, he confided in his parents about his dilemma. His mother, seeing his distress, asked, "Do you have any girl in mind that you want to marry?" Ode shook his head. "No, Mama, I have no one." Without hesitation, his mother suggested Ada, her friend's niece and a fellow church member. Ode, desperate and pressed for time, accepted the suggestion immediately. His mother promised to talk to Ada's aunt, Ifoma, about the proposal. Ada was a very beautiful and hardworking young woman who had lost her parents at a young age to a car accident. She lived with her aunt, Ifoma, who owned one of the biggest supermarkets in the community. Ada was always busy helping her aunt and had little time for herself or for making friends. One Sunday afternoon, after Sunday service, Ode's mother, Ene, rushed to meet Ifoma. She excitedly shares her son's interest in marrying Ada. Ifoma, overjoyed, exclaimed, "Ada, my niece. Oh, the Lord has finally remembered her." She felt a heavy burden lift from her shoulders. When Ifoma told Aba about the proposal, Ada was skeptical. She barely knew Ode, having only seen him in church and occasionally at the supermarket. She told her aunt she needed time to think about it. "Think about what?" Ifoma retorted. "This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to marry the future chairman of this community. You must marry him." Ada reluctantly agreed to consider it. The next day, as she was closing the supermarket, Ode drove up and offered a ride home. Tired and weary, Ada accepted. During the drive, they exchanged phone numbers, and Ode made his intentions clear. "I want to marry you, Ada," he said earnestly. "I have had my eyes on you for a long time but was waiting for the right moment." Ada was taken aback. "Sir, I barely know you. I can't just agree to marry you like that. I need time to think about it." Ode dropped Ada off at her home, and Ifoma, seeing them together, rushed to greet him. "Ah, my chairman, you've come to drop your wife, eh? You've done well." Ode smiled and greeted her before driving off. That night, after dinner, Ifeoma sat Ada down and spoke glowingly of Ode. She recounted how many he had helped and insisted he was a good man. Despite her aunt's encouragement, Ada remained hesitant. Days passed and Ode intensified his effort to win Ada's heart. He picked her up from home in the morning and brought her back in the evening. He showered her with gifts and promised to make her the happiest woman if she accepted his proposal. Slowly, Ada began to warm up to him, carried away by his kindness and sweet words. Eventually, Ada accepted Ode's proposal. Ifeoma was overjoyed, praising her niece for making the best decision of her life. With both families in agreement, wedding preparations began in earnest. The community buzzed with excitement over the upcoming union of the two respected families. The wedding day arrived, and it was a grand affair. The entire community came out to celebrate. Ada looked stunning in her white gown, and Ode beamed with pride as they exchanged vows. Their wedding was the talk of the town. They were the picture of happiness, and everyone wished them well. A few weeks after their marriage, Ode won the election and was sworn in as the new chairman of the community. He was overjoyed with his new position, and the community celebrated their new leader. Ada stood by his side, smiling and waving to the crowd. For a few weeks, everything seems perfect. Ode and Ada enjoyed their new life together. They went on trips, attended events, and seemed to be the perfect couple. Ada's love for Ode grew, and she felt lucky to be his wife. However, as time passed, Ode's real behavior began to show. He started coming home late, often with flimsy excuses. Ada noticed his increasing absence and wondered what was happening. One night, Ode came home drunk, a behavior Ada had never seen before. Ode's late night and drunkenness became more frequent. He grew irritable and often snapped at Ada for no reason. The loving man she had married seemed to vanish, replaced by someone she barely recognized. Ada tried to talk to him, but he dismissed her concerns. One night, after a particular heated argument, Ode slapped Ada. She was stunned, tears streaming down her face. Ode apologized profusely the next day, blaming his behavior on stress from work. Ada forgave him, hoping it was a one-time incident. Despite his promises, Ode's behavior worsened. He became increasingly violent, lashing out at Ada over the smallest things. Outside, they maintained the facade of a happy couple, but inside their home, Ada lived in fear. She confided in her aunt, Ifeoma, hoping for her support. Ifeoma, benefiting from Ode's position, urged Ada to stay. Marriage is not easy, my dear. You must endure. Think of the benefits, she said. Ada felt trapped, torn between fears and her aunt's advice. Months passed and Ada's situation deteriorated. Ode's abuse became more frequent and severe. Outside the home, Ode continued to play the role of a perfect husband. He would hold Ada's hand in public, smile for the camera, and speak lovingly about her. Ada once vibrant spirit dimmed, and she became a shadow of her former self. One night, Ode discovered that Ada told her aunt about what was happening in his family. He immediately rushed home. "You, this woman, do you want to spoil my name and bring shame to me in public?" Ode shouted. After a brutal beating that night, Ada decided she could take no more. She had to escape before he kills her. Ada felt trapped. She has no one else to turn to for help. She was ashamed, too ashamed to tell anyone else about the abuse, fearing that no one will believe her. After all, who would believe that the charming and respected Chief Ode could be so cruel? Ada carefully began to plan her escape. One afternoon while Chief Ode was out, she packed a small bag with essentials and left a note explaining her decision. She slipped out of the house quietly, her heart pounded in her chest as she began to make her way to the bus station. As the bus pulled out of Oju, Ada felt a mix of fear and relief. She didn't know what the future holds, but she was determined to build a new life for herself, freed from the tyranny of Chief Ode. She fled to a nearby town, seeking refuge with an old friend who was her secondary school mate. When Ada arrived at door, she was welcomed by her friend Uche. Uche was a very kind woman who also suffered from domestic violence. She showed Ada love and began to look for a job for her. For the first time in months, Ada felt a gleam of hope. She got a job and began to work and save money so that she could get her own apartment. Ode was furious when he discovered that Ada had left. He began to look for her everywhere, using his political connection to try and track her down. People began to ask questions. Ode's crafted image about a perfect marriage began to crumble. He lied, telling them she went on vacation and will soon be back. People began to talk, and the news about their troubled marriage began to spread. Ode's face turned red with rage. He couldn't believe that Ada had left him and began to expose his true nature to the world. His political career becomes a jeopardy, and she knows that she needs to act quickly to salvage his reputation. Chief Ode decided to make a drastic decision to silence Ada and protect his political career. He contacted a notorious thug named Sniper, known for his ruthless method and loyalty to the highest bidder. Find Ada, bring her back to Oju, do whatever it takes, and make sure she doesn't talk to anyone else about our marriage. Sniper accepted the job without hesitation. He gathered his men and set off for Ado, determined to carry out Chief Ode's order. Meanwhile, Ada continued to build her new life. She has found a new apartment and was thriving in her business. She began to make new friends, finding joy and peace in her newfound freedom. Sniper and his men arrived at Ado and began to search for Ada. They searched the whole city, asking questions and offering bribes for information. It wasn't long before they tracked her down to the market where she worked. One afternoon, as Ada was arranging her goods to close, she saw a group of men watching her from a distance. Her heart skipped a beat, and she recognized Sniper from her time in Oju. She knew that they were to take her back to Chief Ode. Ada quickly packed up her stall and slipped away, trying to blend in the crowd. She knew that she needs to stay one step ahead of Sniper and his men to escape.